Z159 FM.
Hey, everybody. Why is there a baby alligator on the, and why does it say second, July 2025? What's up, everybody? Welcome back from lunch. How was your lunch? Hopefully it was tasty. All right. It's this one right here. Hold on. Let me see. Is this the one?
We like hunting, we like fishing, we like soldier well-wishing.
That's your line.
We like
good line.
Guns, we like buns, we like naming our boats ponds.
That's another. Oh, you wrote this one.
To a full America, spit on that thing. It's America's birthday. Let's let freedom ring.
You know, it's better now. The quality is way better now. You can hear like
Yeah. That's like the digital
like,
brain
my
working.
God. You can't like hear like this one. I did. This one's got a hiss too. That's a relatively new one though. This one was a Nikki Glaser song I did from like a couple weeks ago. All right, get everything going here. Check. Hey. Hello. All right, I think we're good.
All
right. You want to start?
Sure.
This is Friday. And 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Tom and Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and if you're listening to us right now, hey, thanks. We appreciate it. And go to tomandan.com and check out our website with all kinds of stuff on there. Sign up to be a BDM, merch, different videos of ways that you can connect with us, and we'd love it if you did it.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th of July. Hold on, let me give it the blast. Hold on. Let's do it.
Hope everybody's enjoying their 4th of July, and they're is going to enjoy their 4th of July weekend.
Uh-oh, my blast is...
No.
It's not very good. I think I broke. I got to get a new one. Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody.
America's birthday, 1776.
That's what I'm saying.
Which it's funny because going to Sweden and things are so much older and the history goes so much further back.
We're the new guys,
and it's like 1776. That's the start.
Yeah.
Nothing was
Yeah,
before that.
Yeah.
So,
we were like some of those places. Like this is from 1480.
there may have been some people here or there, but they got out of here.
Yeah.
It's
we got them out of there. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. You're doing some fireworks. I don't think we will be setting off our own this year. I think we're gonna just go to a standard show. We're gonna take in a show, if the weather permitting, because I don't know. I don't know if Baldwin's doing their fireworks. I don't know if we're going to get rained out or...
Rain or shine.
Yeah. No, sometimes they don't even do them. Sometimes, I'm sorry, too soggy. Yeah, I don't know.
You would think, like, the fireworks company that was hired are like, we're setting these things off.
We have to.
Because if we don't, then you're going to be like, no, give us a rain check for next year, or I want the money now.
Yeah, we don't do that. Also, another thing I've been thinking about, too, and it's only because, and I failed to mention this when I was recapping my trip to Dollywood, but they do fireworks at Dollywood as well, but they've incorporated the fireworks with drones. Like Dolly has a drone show.
Oh,
she
really?
throws some money at it. Like she's flush with cash, and it's a smaller park, so some of the stuff she does is cooler. And then we didn't stay for the drone show; we had to get on the road. But I was wondering, does rain affect drones? It's got to, right?
Yeah, I would imagine
minimally or a lot.
They're probably waterproof, but I don't know if it's probably a third-party company that puts it on, like, doesn't want all their equipment rained on. I have no idea.
Has anybody got footage of have drones been struck by lightning? Had to have happened, right?
Maybe not. I mean, because if they're not operating during a storm, which is probably more of the wind.
But you would. Like any redneck kid that was gifted one of those DJI drones flew it into a storm, guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's like giving a kid in the woods, like a hillbilly kid, a penny and saying, "Don't put it on the train track." Like you're gonna do it. It's like there's certain things you have to do.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Anyway, I'm throwing that question out. If you've ever seen a drone struck by lightning, or if you know how weather affects drones, shoot me an email, show@tomandan.com. And speaking of which, let's dig into some emails and some voicemails.
All right.
And this one actually ties into my trip to Dollywood, and this is from a over-the-road trucker. Trucker Chris says, "Hey, T&D, I was listening to Monday's ACT, and you guys were wondering why semi-trucks and trailers are registered in Indiana. The reason is the cost, and I think you said that. Most companies register trailers in Indiana or Oklahoma. I've been over the road for 5 years now, hauled flatbed, not flatbread, and refrigerated trailers, and now a tanker driver. So any trucking questions I can answer. Also, no, Tom, Gary, Indiana is now a hellhole, but was once a big producer of steel."
Okay, well, I didn't say it was nice. I thought it was the hub of trucking. From the radio 20 years ago when Whopper Jr. Hitchhiked up to Gary, Indiana. Or maybe it's just because it was the most dangerous truck stop.
I think that's what it was.
It wasn't a hub?
I think it was the most dangerous truck stop.
Oh, so that's why he's saying no.
This is my new favorite voicemailer because I feel like this show we've been neglecting the unfortunates that call our program. We don't have any unfortunates anymore. We used to have a whole ragtag team of unfortunates. And we don't have them anymore.
No, we still have them.
I don't see them. You don't book them. You're only booking like the pervert, Kenny. Where are our unfortunates? Like this guy right here.
Hi, Tom and Dan. This is T-Dub from Titusville, Florida. I just wanted to call in and let y'all know I'm a big fan of y'all's podcast show. I listen to y'all every night on 104.1 Real Radio.
He's the guy.
I just want to say hi, and I hope y'all have a good 4th of July.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I would like to.
Have a good one.
Oh, he's not done yet.
I'd like to talk.
Hold on, it's still going.
Oh, talk to T.
Hold on, still going. There's a breath. Okay. Okay, now we're done. Okay, thank you for. Can you be polite, please? This week, I will say, you have been a little spicier to our guests. Some would say a little holy to our guests.
Yeah,
a little bit.
That's what they like.
A little
they
touchy.
like it.
You're like a little.
They like it.
You're a little aggressive. You're slapping them around. You're a little slap happy with our guests.
So the T-Dub, when he says he listens every night on real radio.
On real radio.
So he goes.
104
He's
FM.
at home, or is he driving?
You asking me? You want me to guess?
Yeah.
He is. He's at home.
So he goes and he sits down on his couch and he turns on the radio?
I don't think T-Dub drives, if you know what I mean.
Does he listen through streaming?
He may.
So he just
But I don't think he's
streams it
driving.
through
I don't
his
think
phone.
he's allowed to drive. I don't think this
Yeah,
is I don't think he's a driving man.
Yeah, no, come on.
I think he has people driving him around.
No, T-Dub is fine.
He's fine. I know. We're going to have him in
There's
here. Trust
there's
me.
nothing wrong with
Trust
him.
me. If it's up to me, we'll have him in here.
T-Dub's he's smarter than I am for sure.
Let's try this one right here.
Hey there, Tom and Dan. Hey guys, it's Kenny. Y'all were talking about your love and affinity for Alf, but there's a lot of stories behind the scenes from the actors that it was a miserable experience on set because obviously, it's a puppet and the puppeteer has to have space to, operate or whatever. So there were just giant gaps in the floor on the stage that the actors had to maneuver around. But because they're still acting, they had to keep eye contact with other people, so they couldn't look down. So there are a lot of stories where actors were just falling into these holes or straining their ankles because they keep tripping on it, and it caused production delays a lot because...
I don't believe that. You give me one day on the Alf set, and I can maneuver around it and do my job. I'm so sick of everything being so hard. Why is everything so hard? I don't believe Kenny. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the actors on the set of Alf were so incensed because they had to leave puppetry gaps that they couldn't do their job and they were just falling into holes and breaking their ankles. Do not believe that.
Because the story, to be interesting, has to be extreme emotion, and it probably was not that.
No.
It was just like,
Is it a mild inconvenience? Yes. We
we
have a puppet, for Christ's sake. Of course you have to give the puppeteer some space.
Yeah. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but miserable? I don't know. I mean, how, it's not...
Like, for instance, on Happily Ever After, which was the show that copied Married with Children, didn't they have a puppet dog that only they could hear it talking, and it was like a puppet, and it was the voice of it was Bobcat Goldthwait. Am I wrong on that? Wasn't that Happily Ever After? And that's how we met Nikki Cox, and they eventually got married, and then she left him for Jay Moore.
Okay,
and then she left Jay Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the story. But my point is, he was only. I don't want to go back on what I'm saying, but I remember that they only painted him like his scenes were they're in the basement. And I'm wondering if what Kenny's saying is true, actually, on this one. Because, like, if they only put him in the basement, then they did that purposely because they didn't want to have the holes for the puppetry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to go back on what I'm saying. But I still don't. I think it's an exaggeration.
It is. But, it
was a rabbit. Ryan in the chat room saying it was Unhappily Ever After, and it was a bunny rabbit.
Okay, yeah. All right. Now I know what you're talking about.
Thank you. Got some smart people in the chat room today.
So, but as an actor, when you're acting to a puppet, it's probably like you're like, not as good. Especially during that time because a little bit in the future, then most actors are acting to a tennis ball that's on top of a stick that's supposed to be T-Rex or whatever.
I won't do that.
You have to CGI, because of CGI.
No, but I'm not. I'm telling you, as an actor, I will not do that. If we're on the set of the newest, Jurassic World, you're gonna have to put something that is a T-Rex, but a tennis ball isn't gonna work. You see what I'm saying? I need some effort in here. If you just put like a tennis ball there, I'm like, no.
Put a fake T-Rex head.
Yeah, put a small T-Rex that is a model of the T-Rex that's going to be here. You see what I'm saying? Why would we put some effort into this? What are we doing? A tennis ball? What kind of shim-sham is this?
If this is, if I'm the director...
It's tennis ball crazy. Everything's a tennis
like,
ball.
You're an actor. Pretend the tennis ball is a T-Rex.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, then you're fired.
I see a tennis ball, I'm Venus Williams. Like, I see a tennis ball, I'm Boris Becker. There's a reference for you. Let's switch to this email. I thought this was kind of interesting because we used to have a bit on our show, and I swear to God, it naturally just died. We used to do a bit called Dump 'Em Out, and I don't think we've done it in a very, very, very long time, and I don't know why. This guy says, this is from Chad, he says, hey guys, bring back some of the quick fire topics now and then, like dump them out. Us viewers are addicted to scrolling, and I think it would translate very well because we're all doing it right now. So, and he says, okay, so now I reread the first part, and I'm not sure if I'm being back was the I am too high to type this. In saying bring back like minute of comedy, damn, no editing, Chad. Okay. He freaked out at the end.
I was on this email, and I remember thinking, like, yeah, maybe he's right. Like, although the quick topics with no diving into them further is not so good with audio. It's more visual.
Yeah, it is.
Because the quick topics that you don't really talk about or explore, that's more like a standard terrestrial radio show that's like you only can talk for 5 minutes at the beginning of a music block or something.
Right.
Like, and I always used to make fun of them, and no offense to anybody that does this. They'll never hear it anyway because radio doesn't listen to other radio. But
no, that's true.
You would, back in the day, listen to radio, and you listen to like a morning show, and they'd get a caller, and then the caller would be like, I cheated on my wife, and blah, blah, blah. And then the host would be like, what? You cheated on your wife? That's crazy. All right, we're going to go to break.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, it's weird that someone told you something, and then you just yelled out, it's crazy, and now you're going to break. Like, don't you want to ask them, how'd you find out? How, like, where were you? What scenario? Like, dive into the more specifics of the story that make it interesting. Just yelling out, it's crazy. It feels like.
That's crazy, man. All right.
And then it's like, and a lot of times those quick audio things are nothing to me.
Well, they also never prepared for the details. So to ask, like, well, how did it happen? Well, there's no story because most of them were fake anyway.
No, I know. But even any of it, like any topic, they would never even talk about it because you have no time.
Right.
So then it's like I always found that odd. I was like, okay, you're talking, but you're not talking about anything because you have no time to go like to explore what the interesting or what's funny about it or anything.
Right.
You're just saying something.
There's zero details.
You're just reading a list. You're like, FSU's the third party college.
I know that right.
And the United
we'll
States.
Be right back.
Yeah. And then you're like, you just tell me something, and then we'll be right back. And it was like, okay, well, don't you want to talk about? Do you think that's right? Or
and even if they do, they'll be like, I don't know about that. Okay, we'll be right back.
yeah. Then it's like, so to me, the small audio bits are like more of a nothing than the small video. At least the video, it's giving you lots of information in a small amount of time.
You can pull more in. You're using more senses. So
yeah.
It would make sense. Or you can gather more with your eyes than you can just by hearing somebody. Plus, like, I don't know. Like, I say I don't do a ton of scrolling anymore. I'm actively trying to not do that. Like, I put my phone away at 7:30 now. And I like it. It's better. I feel better doing it. I sleep better.
I like the term micro-learning because that's what I feel like I'm doing.
Well, that's just putting a positive spin on something that's negative. It's like...
Because, I will say there's a difference because Crystal's, her reels are all comedy. Like, and then marriage comedy and whatever. It is all comedy reels.
Yeah, she's just effing around over there. You're learning. You're an actual student of the world.
But mine is like Neil deGrasse Tyson talking. And then like the other day I was
You're an academic, and she's just over there screwing around like I do.
I have a lot of like evolutionary people. Like, I don't even follow them, but they must know I watch it. So then it gives it more of it. But they were talking about like the history of the sewing needle. And like how long it goes back.
Man,
and, like,
I wish that was on my algorithm. Damn, you got the good stuff over there.
And then I'm looking, and then they're like how far they found sewing needles back in ancient humans, and like actually putting clothes together with thread is like a uniquely Homo sapien thing and like how it evolved, and then the guy who invented the sewing machine revolutionized.
I don't want any gays using this
because the needle's two-sided; it goes in and out. And then that changed everything, obviously, because now you could mass produce clothing.
Sped everything
anyway,
out.
so I'm just learning like 5-minute long reel about the history of the sewing needle.
It's a giant waste of time. Sewing needle of the world. Wow.
At least I know something I didn't know before.
That could really help
right?
you out in a real world situation. Excuse me, does anyone know any science on old world fashion creation?
Well, for me, like if someone brings up the sewing needle, I'm like, well, I know all about this. Let me tell you, on the show,
yeah, but
right?
you'll get it half-assed.
Yeah, but that's all you need.
Yeah.
I was like,
so it's like party knowledge then.
Yeah. That's all it is.
So you like to have a bunch of little so if you're sitting there talking, somebody's talking about my daughter wants to be a fashion designer and she's going to the Savannah Institute of Art or College of Design, up in Atlanta, and you're like, oh, I have an interesting tidbit about the ancient sewing needle. If you guys are interested in. Strap on your safety belts.
I also like to teach my sons little tidbits they don't even listen to, and they're just like, "Oh God!" And then I tell them about how the history of the sewing needle.
It's a bonding thing for you.
When I used to listen to Jim Phillips on the radio, he knew a little about a lot. He always used to say that, and then I was like, I want to know a little about a lot one day. And,
I think most people think that you are the new Jim Phillips. I have heard that.
I have heard that too.
I have heard that.
Let's start that.
I've heard that many, many times, and that makes me Moira. Let's go with this email right here. This is from our buddy Clay. Dan, Tom, and special guest, if still hanging around, someone I know seems to keep breaking their toe every year. It, of course, agitates me because breaking a toe seems to be pretty preventable. What's your most common appendage injury? Finger, toe, or other? Hey, ladies, be sexy like actress Mila Jovovich and wear more combat boots. Love, Clay.
So, I've experienced this, and what it is my son Max has this with his head. Like, ever since he was born, he used to throw his head around. And like we'd be
he
holding
whips his
him.
hair back and forth.
yeah. And then he'd constantly be hitting his head on things because he was not aware spatially around him where something was where he could hit his head. So to this day, he still hits his head on things. And it's a weird thing.
So he can't perceive how tall he is, or
no. He'll just whip his head like he'll.
It's just his reactions are quick.
Yeah,
or he overreacts or overcorrects quickly, and then it slams him into a door.
And he doesn't have a natural instinct to protect his head. So he has the propensity.
He got the Tua.
yeah, it's a Tua. Like, there's got to be a
reason.
So he's bad at protecting his head for whatever reason. His brain reflexes.
He's Polynesian.
He's born this way.
Yeah.
And I think people are born like I often stub my toes a lot because
we drag them around a lot, right? Like, don't you have that draggy foot?
I'm not paying attention to where like bedposts are and where things on the floor. Like I'm ignoring it. So when I'm walking around, I'm not being careful, and then I'm stubbing my toe.
Right.
So this person is paying attention, just like you and Crystal, like are ultra perceptive to everything in the room, and like picks up a lot more information than other people's brains.
Like I can see you're stubbing your toe right now. Right now you're stubbing your toe. I can see it.
And then you're like, how the hell does this person just keep breaking their toe one after another? My mom does it too. Like she gave me some way my brain works.
Toe breaking disease?
Or she's not paying attention and she's, breaking.
Do you think Max's is the same thing, just on his head, not his toes?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Something in the blood,
yeah. Or and I think, and then other people can't understand because they're like, how do you keep hitting your toe over and over?
Yeah.
And then that person's like, it's where my brain works.
Sometimes I think about that. Like I have some injuries I get, like on this arm, on my right arm, right here on like, I don't even know what you call that. My forearm, right below my elbow. On my forearm, there's a area there, and I must use it to move things or to move doors or something. But like once a month, I'll have a big bruise in the same spot all the time. And I think it's just because that's something I do. Like it's just
You're using that as your arm,
and
as
it's
a tool.
comfortable for me, or whatever. Let's go with this one right here. Voicemail.
Hey guys, you're talking about homeschooling kids, and I was around some dodo family members when I was back in Florida who ripped their kids out of school because their teacher may have said something about a gender at some point, and the kids can't possibly be exposed to that. So, in the next breath, they're talking about how they don't know how to do this math. They don't know what a fucking verb is. They don't know where a semicolon goes. They don't know half the crap that their kid needs to get through life as a productive member of society. And all I could do is shake my head about the next generation of dodos coming up because
I haven't seen the dodo homeschooler. I mean, I'm sure they're out there because there's bad of everything, right? But
yeah. There's not that many people that are homeschooled to have like a whole generation of people, but it is funny and super disrespectful that people do. I love being disrespectful unknowingly, as you know.
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, it's one of your favorite things.
It's my favorite thing.
Passive. It's like
passive disrespect.
Passive disrespect.
Yeah. Passive disrespect is awesome.
But you know what? I don't even think passive is what you can say. I think that's incorrect. I think you have to say it's almost like based in ignorance, though.
Yeah.
Because passive would mean that you know and you're letting it actively happen, and that's not what you're doing.
It's the unknowing D-head.
It's the ignorant D-head.
Accidental D-head.
Yeah.
Is my favorite thing. Anyway, so anytime someone's like, I'll just homeschool my kids. It is you're saying that you're basically disregarding the teacher's job and what they've learned to become a teacher by saying you could easily just do it. You have no idea.
I never looked at it like that. I've always looked at it like those people want to see. The way I've always looked at it, like with homeschooled people, I've always looked at it like they're too afraid to give the power of learning to someone else over them. It's a control thing. So they'd rather control everything that goes into their child's brain. Now, I'm not saying that people really feel this way. It's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like to me, it feels very controlling. Like, I'm gonna control the ones I grew up with were all religious. It was always like we want to keep you close because we want you in the religion. Yeah, that's what it was based on.
But to like pass the whatever state you live in's GED to say that this person earned a GED, you have to learn the curriculum.
Oh yeah, you got to get the curriculum. Sure.
And so then the parent has to then teach the kid the curriculum, right? And if you're not a teacher,
well, I guess they really don't. I mean, you could probably flub it, couldn't you? I mean, like you could probably cheat the system if you really wanted to, and say you're because Maisie asked this. I don't know why this came up.
You have to go take the test privately. You can't just do it at home.
Yeah, this came up though to Maisie asked. So she's like, "Do you still have to take the state test?" And we're like, "Yeah, absolutely. You still have to do everything." I think. I don't really know that much about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they lock you down. I don't know if they allow you to take the test at home and turn it in. I don't know. I've never been around it, so I don't know. Well, I don't want to assume.
I know the GED. You have to actually go. It's like the SATs. Like it's a controlled environment, so it's like you can't just turn it in.
But I mean, like for Maisie, if we were homeschooling her and then she had fast testing, would I need to send her to a fast testing facility to test? Or could I get the test as within my rights as a qualified parental teacher? Could I get those tests, sign an affidavit swearing that I'm telling the truth, have her take them, put all the right answers.
You probably could if you filled out the anxiety form, like she suffers from it, she can't take
she's
tests.
crippling.
People use the anxiety form around for everything.
Yeah, well, like I've learned with the pee-pee dogs. Yeah. When the anxiety dogs started popping up on planes, anxiety rule the world. Anxiety rules the world. And I don't even take advantage of any of that stuff. And I got full-blown real stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are people that
stolen valor.
It is stolen valor. There are people that do not have it in their chart. Mine is in the chart. I'm on the drugs.
I know through every situation you could think of in a corporation, in the government. People have used the anxiety form to get to the front of the line, get whatever they want at the
front of a roller coaster that will give you anxiety.
Like not go back to work if you're remote. All these things that because every place has to have one because someone got lobby, they're protest, they're like, oh, you have to have this. They're like, okay, and then you find it and you're like, oh, I'm using this because. And nearly impossible to prove. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're like, hey, my anxiety, and then you have some doctor.
It's kind of shameful to ask. Like, do you really have it? You know.
Well, what level? It's impossible to prove what level. I think everybody has a baseline of something, like some fear.
I mean, I think everyone has it. I think everyone has a level of anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone has crippling anxiety.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's a spectrum of anxiety, right? So when you can't do or like you can't wait in lines or you can't do like all this other stuff, like you need a crippling level anxiety to get those perks. But you could write it down. You want it the front? You want to do whatever you want at work?
Let's try this one. I think you'll find this one interesting, as I did. I think I knew this, and speaking of medical marijuana, it probably fell out my head sometime.
Hey guys, it's Bubble Bath Billy. I think you guys were talking about poker home games on an ACT earlier this week. I don't know. I'm a little bit behind on shows, but you were talking about how the police don't really care. They're not going to come arrest you if you're playing a fat dead game for a couple $100. Really, the stakes don't matter at all. You can play poker with your buddies for, whatever stakes you want to play, and it's not illegal. It only becomes illegal when the house or the dealer collects a rake, which is when they take a little bit of money off the top of every pot. So when you're making money by running the game, that's when it becomes illegal. But you can play for whatever stakes you want with your buddies.
I think somebody had told me that before, and I don't know why I forgot that. But yes, when the house starts taking a percentage,
now it's
you're running a casino.
Yeah, you're running a casino, and that's where people get busted and they bark down because they're running a poker room. And yeah, you're right. We didn't mention that, but the point was people used to be ignorant of that fact and think that they couldn't advertise that they were playing a real poker game for real money. Right. We remember that. Like our dad's generation was like, oh, don't. I think they even made a joke in like Roseanne, where like it was Dan Connor.
You got it right.
Dan Connor was like doing a poker game with his buddies, and then they were like, "Oh, we gotta say this is these pennies represent dollars because it's
right.
It was like it was something like that. I remember
or something. Yeah.
So and that same thing with betting too. Like you can make a bet with anybody you want with any amount you want on a football game. You know what I'm saying? It's when you start being a bookie and taking multiple bets,
a percentage,
and then you're giving odds minus 110 is like that 10% is the illegal part.
Yeah.
Even money exchange isn't illegal.
Yeah.
It's the 10%. It's the vigorish.
I've never understood the scalping ticket thing.
I knew a guy that worked with Bushy that was a professional ticket scalper. I don't think.
How did that work in the day?
Okay, so
because it's still going on now, right?
I got his cell phone number. I should get him on for.
Would
a
he
weird
talk
job.
to us about it?
I think he may, because now essentially the job doesn't exist as much because they made it digital now.
But there are still bots that
bots are doing it.
But I think there are guys still exploiting it to get tickets.
But on the streets, everything's digital now, and the companies like Game Time and all these other third-party companies, they're essentially scalping, doing what the guys on the street did.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think when the Oasis tickets went live, it may not have been Oasis, but it was a big deal. These tickets went live, right? And then all these bots got in there and got tons of the tickets, and then they found out, and they were like, they're all null now. We're going to do it again.
Oh, really?
And they locked it down this time and used a different system and then re-released the tickets that way. They knew that it was that way more people, it could be more fair.
Yeah. I don't know how they regulate that. There's, as a consumer, there's no way to know whether they're whoever's selling the tickets is doing this or if they're letting if it's fair or if they're just having third parties buy up all the tickets and then sell them to us at a higher price. The ticket industry is weird.
It is, and especially now when they're claiming that they have to do the all-in ticket pricing. So, when you go to buy a ticket now, I just bought a ticket for I'm going to go see Molly Tuttle, the bluegrass player. She's going to be at the Plaza Live with Joshua Ray Walker. So if you guys are into country music, you can go see those guys. But I bought a ticket for that, and they have to do the all-in pricing. But it's still not really even all – they give you – it's close, but it's not an exact amount of, what you pay.
Yeah. And then you don't know, how many seats were available, and did real people buy all these seats, or the secondary – third-party company buy them and now reselling them.
Right.
Because you don't know any of that information. You have to be behind the scenes to know it. So we're just,
we only have the information we have.
We're just like, here, buy a ticket. Wow, it's expensive.
Yeah. Oh man, stuff is expensive now.
Although there are so many shows everywhere and so many different venues now. Like
I think we're gonna see venues and shows dry up. I think in the next couple years, the bigger tours, because you're seeing like Beyonce, Katy Perry.
Some people are having problems selling tickets.
Oh, a lot of them. Like a lot of some of your bigger tours that have even come through here, you can get. I mean, day of, you go and look at the seating chart. Like I saw a Beyonce show that was in like a big city, like a massive city. It was like day of. They linked to it.
Yeah.
You could click on it. I mean, there were tickets everywhere. It's just. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on financially in the world. And when that happens, people have a tendency to either hoard their money, hold on to their money, reevaluate what they spend on. I mean, and tickets have gone up. I mean, when's the last time you bought one? They're very expensive.
Yeah, no, they are.
It's a couple $100 just for like a basic boy seat. Like you just want to go see Upper Bowl Post Malone Jelly Roll at Camping World, you're out a couple $100.
Yeah, oh yeah. We we saw that we talked about like Nate Bargatze's coming into town, and then
I'd love to go see that.
I was Weird Al is going to.
I would love to go see that.
St. Augustine.
Yeah, to the amphitheater. That's such a great venue, dude.
I think I'm gonna get. I hope it's not sold out. I don't think it is because I want to take my boat up. And then see Weird Al with my sons.
That'd be awesome.
They know Weird Al, and that was some of the first music we were showing.
And you like that venue? That's a good venue.
Yeah. And just to see a legend, and I watched the Weird Al.
He is a legend. You can't not say he's a legend. Dr. Demento just retired. Do you see that?
No.
I think the Dr. Demento show, which is basically how Weird Al got his start, because he would send in tapes. I think he just decided to end it. He's like, it's finally done.
Okay.
Which is it's a very, very big deal. I think he might be. Let me look. Let me see if I can find that story real quick.
I mean, how old is he?
90 maybe.
Yeah. Because Weird Al is
60s.
Yeah, he's got to be in his 60s.
Yeah, this was just like 2 days ago, man. Yeah,
maybe 70s is.
Weird Al? He's finally retiring after 55 years. Barry Hansen, known as Dr. Demento, he was at one time on 150 different radio stations, man.
Wow.
And, he's ending his 55-year career. Dr. Demento, a.k.a. Barry Hansen, began hosting the Dr. Demento Show October 1970 on KPPC, Pasadena, California. Also now known as what?
What?
You know what it is. What's Howard's station? Or was?
Oh,
K-Rock.
Okay.
Yeah, he started in 1970 on what would become K-Rock. And, he's 84. 84 years old, and he says, and I'll quote, "I'm now 84 years old, and I've been doing the show for 55 years, about 2/3 of my life. It's been a blast, but I've come to the decision that I need to hang up my top hat. The show you just heard is the last of my regular show." So he didn't even let him know. He just dropped the last show and peaced out. I like that. That's the way to do it.
What a hard decision, because at a certain point, you're 84. You've been doing the show for 55 years. And
that's what I feel like. I'm Orlando's Dr. Demento. Oh, God.
And then essentially, I guess he could do it as long as he wanted to, right? Or did you think they told him behind the scenes, like,
I don't think with him they would. He's too iconic and he's important, and I think
so they would have let him just go.
I think so. Yeah, like with Jim, I think I got the feeling with Jim Phillips, they just let it. If he wanted to keep going, he didn't. But if he did, I think people would have let him.
Yeah. But eventually, I guess. Well, you can't outlive the. I guess.
I think you feel it too, right? Like maybe it's a feeling, and
you're just like, I don't want to do day to day,
or maybe you feel like you're not bringing it anymore. Like maybe inside of you, you're like, it doesn't feel the same. I don't have the same amount of zest or love for it anymore. Andrea wants me to let you know that if you want tickets for Weird Al, they're $120 a piece in the back row.
Okay. All right. I mean, I was expected to play.
That's about normal ticket prices.
Over $100 a piece.
That's about normal ticket prices these days.
I didn't think there were going to be. Remember when the concert tickets were like $30?
I remember when I thought an expensive concert ticket was $40. Like $45 ticket. I was like, what? 45? I'm not paying $45.
This is what my pop-up did to me about cigarettes, and then I used to get so frustrated because he's like, I quit smoking when cigarettes became 35 cents a pack, and he's like, that was too much. And then I'm like, well, that's how prices go up, old man. And then now I'm doing it like I remember tickets were 30. I was like, oh.
It is shocking though to see every ticket is almost $100. Like every ticket.
Yeah.
But you want to see something good? It's gonna be $100.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I told my pop is that everything goes up.
That's the way it works. Let's try this one.
Hey, gentlemen, it is Mike from St. Augustine. Oh, excuse me.
Wow.
On the BDM show this past week, you guys were talking about driver's ed. Believe it or not, the new law coming out July 1st is they're actually having driver's ed come back into the high schools here in the lovely state of Florida. Also, the clown that talked about pizza in New York, go fuck yourself. Nothing better than New York pizza. Suck it.
I like to suck it on the end. You know, that's funny. I like to suck it on the end, Mike.
So they're bringing back driver's ed in Florida schools as part of.
I mean, I took it. I'm glad I took it. I liked it. You know, but I was weird because I already knew how to drive. My dad had taught me how to drive. We bought my car when I was like 14 to fix it up, so I had it in my garage for a very long time.
That's what I don't understand. Like I tell my sons, I'm like, I'm gonna teach you how to drive. Like I was gonna recently go out to a field or something, a parking lot, and then let my sons drive my truck around.
I've done that with Maisie,
and
not drive my car around without me in it or anything. But.
No. I'm just saying, I'm sitting there and they just here's how to drive.
I've had Maisie steer on my like sitting in my lap.
Yeah. No.
That's all I've done.
We've done that in Miami for every time we go down there. Like when we stay at Turkey Leg's house, from Turkey Leg's house to Crystal's dad's house is like all neighborhoods, but it's close, like 4 blocks away, and we let the kids drive or steer as when we drove, and they had fun doing it or whatever. So like I could easily teach them how to drive, and so the kids don't want to learn how to drive when I guess they're 16 or they don't want to
Are you asking what new children? Like I don't know. I don't have any children that age, but like most of the kids I know.
Well, that's the trope now is that young people don't get their driver's license at 16, and I understand why. It's like most of the interaction they're having is digital, and they're talking. You know, it's like they don't have the necessity or they don't feel the need to get a driver's license because they don't need. They also have Uber.
Yeah, I think that some kids, and the Uber thing is big. Yeah, you can just it is easier to just call an Uber than it would be to get a driver's license because you don't have to sign up for anything specific. But, there's no anxiety based on having to learn or test or.
Well, also if you don't have a car, I could see a kid saying like, I'm not going to buy a car, pay for the insurance, pay for all the upkeep, and I'm just gonna. I don't need it all. It's way more. I can't afford it.
It's expensive, sure.
So that I understand. But what I don't understand is like why their parents didn't, like they know how to drive, right? They don't feel the need to get the driver's license.
No, I think there are some kids that like if you gave them like they had to like use a car and I know this used to be a thing back in the day. Like you need to know how to run a stick in case one of your friends gets hurt. And the only vehicle there is, do you remember the old, like my dad gave me a speech, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just going to give you the speech. He said I needed to learn how to drive a standard transmission because if I was ever out with some friends and the only way we could get to a hospital or back to safety was driving a standard transmission, I should know how to do it. Yeah. And I was like, that makes sense. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like now, does it really make sense? I don't know. Not really, considering every car I've ever owned for the rest of my life. I've only owned like maybe 4 standards. Everything else, I had an automatic. Right now, I have an electric car that drives itself, Dad, so no standard needed. But like, is it now where like kids, I think now it is now where it's the life skill is just knowing how to drive a car. Like, do you know how to do it? Because I know some kids, I kid you not, that if they had a car and needed to drive it, their familiarity with the car is 0. Like they don't know traffic signals, how to do it, what to do, right on red, none of that. No.
So if you put them behind the driver's seat, their parents never sat them and then had them steer the steering wheel.
Correct.
Or like they've never been in an arcade and like
But they don't know any of the rules.
Gas.
They didn't take a class. They don't know anything.
The rules,
about it.
but the rules are different because yes, you do like, hey, what do I do at a flashing yellow? Like that, I could understand because you didn't take the test or whatever, you didn't pay attention because you didn't need to. But like actually driving the car itself, like I feel like most 17-year-olds could get behind the wheel of a car and drive it, right?
I absolutely think most.
It's not like they don't have the skill to even drive it. They just never got the test. They're like, I don't need I'm not going to go.
But I'm saying now more than ever, there is a group that's larger than you know that is timid and scared and knows nothing. That's a real thing.
I believe that.
And it's bigger than we've ever thought. Like you're right. Most 17-year-olds really know, but I even know some 17-year-olds, they have a basic idea of it, but they're still too afraid to do it.
Okay,
like I know people that have the skills to do it, but they never drive because they're terrified.
Okay, yeah. That's weird.
It is weird.
But understandable because the whole aspect of not getting a driver's license at 16, everybody's like, "What? I couldn't wait to get my driver's license." I'm like, "Yeah, but we were living in a different time. We had to." That was the only way to escape our house and go see our friends.
But I don't think it's all, and I know you come back to it. I disagree with you a little bit on it being the new form of communication. I don't think FaceTime or like communicating on the phone is the single reason that they've decided they don't need to drive because you still want to make out with your girlfriend, see your girlfriend. Those are all real.
That's
things.
just a factor in it. But I'm saying Uber.
Uber helps a lot.
There was calling a taxi when we were in high school wasn't a thing.
That's for old people.
That's
for an old man.
It also cost you $180 or whatever. Like it wasn't available.
It's not a real thing.
It'd take a half an hour. You schedule it for the afternoon, like
like take your grandma to the.
So now
airport.
That I totally understand. Like some 16-year-old kid is like, hey, I'm not driving. I'm going to my girlfriend's house or going to work. I'll just Uber because I've done the math. First, the car payment, the insurance, and all the stuff. The maintenance is too expensive. It's cheaper to Uber, and that I totally understand. It's but I'm like, you can drive though. Like if you can get behind the car, you understand the steering wheel and the gas, and like, oh yeah.
I think most teens though, to give you a better example, I think most teens back in the day, when you'd ask them, hey, you can drive, right? Like this is when 76 when I was born. You ask my generation, could you drive? Every single one of them is a 5-star general. Yes, I can drive. Nowadays, if you ask somebody, can you drive? It's like asking your friend that went to flight academy, do you still know how to fire up a helicopter? Like when you're trapped somewhere and there's a helicopter in the old barn, you're like, do you still know how to drive those? They're like, I can give it a shot. That's how kids are to driving now. They're like, I can give it a shot. I can try.
I can't wait to bully my friends if their kids don't get their driver's license at 16 and they don't know how to drive. I'm going to bully them crazy. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to force my son to learn.
Get them to be the first ones.
And then
why don't you make them the first one? Why don't we make our 3 kids like
Maisie can drive right now easily.
Well, we'll use my car, so it's totally safe. We'll let all the boys drive.
We don't have to do anything.
No, I'll let them drive it around.
The Tesla, I wouldn't let my son.
I'll put him in the low mode. I'll put him in in grandma mode.
Oh, okay.
So just putt around.
Oh, okay. That may be better.
That'd be kind of fun. And then we can make fart noises as we're going down the road and screw with people. Let's get out of here.
All right. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, have a great time. And guys, we don't need to tell you guys this, but be safe out there. Don't blow your hand off.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Make sure you can see before you light the fuse.
How do I know if the mortar is, ready to go unless I look down
the tunnel? Yeah. Come on. Everybody does. You look straight down in there.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right, we're
just doing a 15,
right?
And we'll just do voicemail.
I gotta pee.
4th of July ACT.
Oh, yeah, damn. Andrea, no, TC told me that. Andrea said, did you see that Brendan had to go to the ER? Damn, he must have hurt himself real bad. That fucking sucks.
Yeah. He,
Andrea says it's Bernie, his dog. Yeah, he was walking his dog, babe. We had another friend that was walking in his backyard and he stepped in a hole. I don't know why I'm thinking of this. And he broke his leg. Like stepped in, like was just like walking with walking fast.
Yeah.
And his leg went into like a weird patch of grass he couldn't see, and it just went straight to broke his leg.
I mean, Butler, cut his top of his pinky off and fucked himself up. Or, he was on his one wheel, but his dog pulled him off. How many people get injured walking their dog?
A lot.
Probably a lot.
A lot.
Because a dog takes off and it's yanking you.
Oh, one of my favorite videos is that dog that yanks that grandma into the gas grill.
Yeah. There's the dog yanking you has always been a thing, and no one talks about that hazard of owning a dog. And it seems like it's a higher probability of getting injured walking your dog than getting injured. I'm trying to think of what
bungee jumping.
What other people are afraid of. Like
it's higher than bungee jumping. Bungee jumping, you don't get hurt that often. That's very low.
I'm trying to think of something people are afraid of.
Shark diving.
Yeah, swimming in the ocean
with a shark. Yeah,
or like getting attacked by an alligator if you're like swimming,
or just swimming in a lake near an alligator.
Yeah. I mean, but wait, yeah. Like, I'm trying to like
Let me pee real fast. Sorry. I'll be right back.
Like we've known 2 people personally that have gotten badly injured walking their dog. Also, the amount that you have to do it increases the probability that you'd get injured. So you're doing it twice a day or 3 times a day. From running around, I see it. There's a lot of people that have dog walking routines. Probably a lot of our listeners walking their dogs because just listening to audio. I know there's a BDM that lives near me that I see him with AirPods.
Oh, Christine says, my husband has a huge scar around his leg where the leash wrapped around him as my dog pulled, and it caused his deep, almost rug burn. That sucks. All right. Thursday 15 voicemails.
Our people are still using the retractable
I don't use
trigger retractable, or do you use standard? Regular.
I like my underwear and my leash is the same. I like Army issue nylon, and I like I use a 2-ton YYK clasp, 2-ton nylon, black, no colors.
I'm always impressed by the people that have the dogs that will walk next to them, never stray.
Isley would do that,
and then just sit down.
But I had him trained.
Yeah.
At that place.
The
God,
trained dog.
They whipped the fuck out of him to get him to do that. Man, it was beautiful. No, they did not do that. All right. You want to bring us back, or is this a coming back?
This is a start.
Okay.
Thursday.
And it's a quick one.
And it's a quick. We'll just do some voicemail, and we just need like 15 because we'll do Paul for number 2 tomorrow.
See, that's funny. I was told to not use a retractable leash. That it is that they're garbage. I was told you're supposed to use a regular nylon lead. I don't know. All right, buddy. Here we go. And 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. We'd love it if you'd come hang out with us. Just search for @TomandDanLive wherever you get your podcast. Tons of videos on YouTube, too. Lots of cartoons by Swervy Jones, who's currently working on a video game. And it looks like I'm going to voice a couple of characters for his video game. So be on the lookout for that. It looks pretty cool. He's been working his ass off on that. And it is really, really cool. Very cool.
Also, we're getting some new straw hats and some sun shirts made from a company that we're now working with called Hittin' Skins, HITTN skins.com.
I feel like I need a sound effect.
And they do promotional items and merch and car wraps and, whatever
Let's wrap my
that you
car.
want. Yeah, we can. Hittin' Skins can do it.
Crazy. What's the funniest thing we can wrap my car in? Let's wrap it in the Epstein files. The whole Epstein files on the outside of my car. What do you think? People stopping by to read it. All the redactions in there. It's kind of cool, right? I'm going to think out of the box.
All the files?
All the files. Every file.
I just want the Stephen Hawking file.
I still believe it. And no matter what you say, I'll still believe it. Because I want to believe. That's why I want to believe. Because I want to believe.
Was that true?
No, it was absolutely not true.
Right.
EJ reported it to us as if it were true.
And just saw me.
And then he tried to double back and act like he didn't get duped. He got duped. I know he did. You want to do some voicemails, buddy?
Yes.
Let's do a couple of voicemails. Number one voicemail that everybody sent us is this one right here.
What do you mean you're doing a podcast with a mime? You're going to ask him questions and he's going to pretend like he's getting out of a box. What am I supposed to listen to on the podcast? How many questions about getting out of a box can you ask this guy? What are you guys doing with your podcast, man? What is this?
So, I got 100 of those from people that were like, and I'm glad we played it straight. We didn't address that. We didn't make one joke about like, hey, we have a mime on and make him do the thing. And we didn't do any of that. We played it straight. We're like, we have a mime. And then he opened his mouth and talked. And I love that. I love that all of you jokers out there thinking you were going to out-joke us and you're a bunch of fools.
Well, so obviously we talk about Tom the Mime, who is a great guy, super nice.
I love Tom the Mime.
He doesn't do anything traditional mime. I would really categorize him more of a clown. And I don't know if that's insulting.
Don't tell that to him.
But he's doing what I see like the Cirque clowns do.
Yeah.
Or, like traditional, like they're miming, they're not talking.
Yeah.
And they're doing jokes. You know what I'm saying?
So there are clowns.
Like a mime.
So clowns can mime and mimes can mime.
Yes.
And he's a miming mime. And the clowns that you've seen are miming clowns.
So he's not miming he's miming comedy. He's not miming anything else.
No.
Like he's not miming box or rope or wind.
No.
He's like miming
interactions.
Yeah, interactions with guests.
Yeah, he's helping to seat you.
Yeah. He's like, but which is what clowns do a lot of. And they do other stuff, the juggling, the unicycle, other clown duties.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of clowns miming comedy and interactions.
Why do they make
people.
The clowns help seat people? That's kind of demeaning, isn't it?
They're clowns. It's in the name.
But that's what, to seat
people?
There's
no demeaning clowns.
People?
Clowns cannot be demeaned.
Why don't you let the guy that shovels the elephant crap, let him help seat people? The clowns are stars. They're dressed up.
Yeah, but you can undermine a clown. You can clown a clown.
I thought it was you can never clown a clown.
You can demean. You can insult a clown. It's all part of being a clown. I know this.
Okay.
I am clown adjacent.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I never call myself. It's disrespectful to clown.
Clown adjacent is how it's pronounced.
I think I have the mentality of a clown and the fact that I'll do anything for a laugh. Even if it's make fun of myself, make myself look dumb, I'll make you look dumb. Yeah. That's my favorite. But
doesn't happen very often. Yeah.
Oh, a clown, goddammit. And that's so it doesn't. Yeah. So, but it doesn't matter. Anything for the laugh.
Yeah. SJ is saying that Tom the Mime's rule is if he has gloves on, no talk. If he has his gloves off, he can talk.
Okay.
That makes zero sense.
It's his own mind rule.
Hey, have your own rule. That's fine. Let's do this one right here.
Hey guys, BDM Chris here. I'm listening to the wife cast from Friday, and I just wanted to ask Tom, did you get into any shit with Crystal after the show? Because, she complains about dreams that she has of you with other women, and then back to back, it was just like smoking hot voices calling in, hey Tom, hey Dan, on the fucking voicemails, and I know my wife would have been all over my shit for something like that. So just wondering if Crystal got on you about it, side chicks.
I don't think Crystal gets on you about really anything. I think we've given off that perception.
She gets on me for fake dreams she has.
Yeah, but she's not going to, that was Simone that calls in, and that's how Simone sounds. But yeah, Simone happens to have a very sexy voice. And I don't think
I got big one.
Big research. I don't think your wife or my wife are mad if Simone calls in and goes, hi, Tom. Hi, Dan. Like, they don't care about that, right? I don't think my wife does.
No, your wife's not jealous of, she's not thinking.
She's very confident. My wife is very confident.
Over the phone, no, but she will, like, for sure, any sort of deviation from my normal routine, Crystal immediately thinks I'm cheating on her. And because her worst nightmare, she has anxiety like Daniel, where it's, any sort of.
I think you're cheating on me too.
You're like you have like you're a little bit hungry, your stomach hurts. You're like, oh, cancer.
Yeah.
So it's
I was doing that earlier today.
Yeah. That because your brain goes any sort of pain to the worst possible scenario. Any sort of like I'm acting suspicious in any way, or she perceives it as suspicious, whatever, she's going to the worst scenario, which in her mind is me cheating on her.
Over the boys dying. That's interesting.
No. That's the first.
Okay.
It's just as far as what could happen with me.
Gotcha.
Like never goes to me dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's not as bad as cheating on her emotional brain. Because dead is an accident.
I would rather.
Cheating is I'm stabbing her in the heart. I'm
packing
her.
Crystal, that's one of the things I don't agree with Crystal on that one. That last one, that's a little heavy for me.
No, it's emotional. Like that's
the
worst thing emotionally that could happen to her. So she's in constant fear of it.
Was she ever cheated on?
I cheated on her.
That's a good answer. That's a Daniel answer. Holy crap! That's what I wanted you to say.
That's a clown dude.
That's what I wanted you to do.
You're gonna hand me a balloon?
Yeah, and you'll blow it up or sit on it or something. One more. Here we go. Let's try this one.
Hey guys, it is your friend Summer. I was listening to the Friday Free Show that was released this week with Savannah, and she told the story about how she ran away from home and went to Florida to try to work at Disney World, and then she wound up running into Billy Idol at Pleasure Island when she was 16, and she lied and told him that she was older, and then he took her out partying. And that
that is a true story. You need to go and listen to the Savannah show where she went to Pleasure Island as a young teen
with Billy Idol.
With Billy Idol, old ass, and he's in the news lately. Have you seen him? He's got a six-pack, man. He's like, he looks good. He looks good.
He comes up on my running reels where he's trying to break some record for, like, I don't know, it was the 800 meter. Some running record at his age.
The only thing that's, like, his body looks great. His face, not so good. Face is,
wow.
It's like all of
he ran it hot.
Yeah, all of his facial features are in a 3-inch circle diameter of his face, and the rest of it's just this smoothed out, melted whatever. All right, here we go.
Reminded me of something that I did as well as a young teen. I was on a school trip in 8th grade, and I think I was 13, and my friend was 14, and we were allowed to walk around without chaperones that year. And we're at the Magic Kingdom, and there were a lot of Navy guys there that day in their little white suits, and I guess they were on leave, and there was a bunch of sailors there, and we wound up meeting two of them in line at Thunder Mountain. Now, keep in mind, I'm 13.
Oh, my God. You're 13 years old. This is what's wrong with the Navy, right?
Yeah.
Couple of dum-dums, a couple of A1 bullet stoppers out there. A1 bullet stopper pedophiles.
Yeah, well, it's not there for, I mean, mini greasers.
Stop, what are you doing?
She's 14. We started talking to these two guys. They were 20 and 21.
Jesus.
And we lied to them and told them that we were 18, which I guess they believed at the time. I mean, looking back, when I look at pictures of myself, I think
do you think they're going to look at you like you're like, we're 18? They're going to be like, are you sure? Are they going to do that? Yeah, come on.
God, I look 13 years old, whatever. And we wound up hanging out with these two guys the whole rest of the day, into the night, went to old Tom Sawyer's Island and, visited the caves, which I think has seen more F-banging in those caves than probably a skating rink or a movie
Jesus,
theater.
Summer.
But we wound up hanging out with them, and then I gave the guy that I was hanging out with my phone number. Now, remember, this was 91, so we didn't have cell phones. We just had landlines.
That man, General Norman Schwarzkopf. Desert Storm.
And he tried to call me.
Storm and Norman. He stormed Summer in the caverns. Oh, my God.
A couple weeks after that day, and my father answered the phone and wanted to know why a grown-ass man was asking for his 13-year-old daughter, and the guy was like, oh, she said she was 18. And my dad apologized to him. He apologized to this guy because I had lied. And said I was
Thank you for your service. My daughter lied. Sir, she told me in the cavern she was 18 while I was blasting her.
And then I got in big trouble. And I laugh to think about it now, like, what if, I have a 16-year-old daughter, and I think to myself, like, what would I do? I would probably be more scandalized that the guy was trying to hook up with her. However, kids today now, I feel like they look so much older than we did back then, but, that's such an old lady thing to say. Anyway, sorry this went so long, but I thought it was funny to sort of piggyback onto that story that Savannah told. Maybe it was common for girls of the early 90s.
No, I had a girl lie to me about it. I've told that story before.
Yeah. That's been going on.
And it will still go on. That will never die.
Well, I was about to say forever, but there was you go back far enough, it didn't matter. The age.
Well, we hadn't made any rules yet. We were going a little crazy.
Yeah. So when
there was no standardization.
That's been going on since they made rules. It didn't go on before that.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter. But then we made rules, and then it started going on. And then also young, dumb kids can't tell the age of people, because they're kids.
Yeah,
they're kids
that's
themselves.
a life experience.
And a 21-year-old or whatever, and you're like, how'd you not know? It's like, what?
Tracy in our chat room, and you guys know Tracy. She says, I was 16 dating a 19-year-old. Didn't matter. He had a white van, too. Wow, Tracy. Wow. Yeah, I'm learning a lot today from you, ladies.
Hey,
a white van, and then your parents allowed you at 16 to date a 19-year-old? Are you insane?
Yeah. Listen, that.
Are you crazy?
These are kids of the 90s. You talk to Crystal about the amount of sexual harassment and also sexual abuse and attacks at her job that she went through is astounding. I'll laugh with her about it. It's not funny, but it's funny that this happened and she didn't react as, and she told other people, and they're like,
I'm sorry.
You're
going to have to let him honk your boob. I'm sorry. That's company policy.
There's a story. She told this on the air, but she used to work at this place, a shoe store, and then she was, getting shoes, and then, another coworker came up to her and pressed his B against her back, and he's like, "Look how you got me." He said that in her ear.
Yeah, that's a compliment. It's the highest form of
to him it was.
No, but it is. It is.
And I'm like,
if
what?
you didn't do that, like what else can you do?
And then just all this other stuff, and this was the early 2000s.
Oh my God, SJ in the chat room, he says he was 17 and he was dating a 47-year-old woman. What?
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked to Rick Springfield one time on this podcast
about Linda Blair.
Time. Yeah, Linda Blair,
Yeah.
and she was 17, and he was like 30 or something. Like the same thing that Jared Fogel's in prison for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at Linda.
But can
Blair,
he sing? Can Jared sing?
And so Rick Springfield is like, it was the 70s, but I think even her parents, like she had showbiz parents. And like, think about Linda Blair, 17-year-old Linda Blair in the 70s that was in Hollywood.
Well, it's
like she was already smoking and doing
Yeah.
coke.
Well,
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
it's kind of the accelerated Drew Barrymore style of childhood,
Like,
which is sad.
Her
kind of.
parents didn't care. She was already like handling her own affairs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird thing.
Yeah, there was
where-
a level of emancipation she was living.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like up to that point.
And looking back at 2000 at this time, when did we interview him? It was probably like
2012.
2012, yeah. 20 and like so.
It was the first year we did the show.
But even then it was shocking. We were like, whoa, because it's on Wikipedia. We're like, let's ask him about this, which is funny. Something I'd never asked now.
I wonder why that is.
I think
maybe this means more because it's more established now than then. Because then we were just kind of like, let's screw around. You know, like I don't know.
I think, well, that wasn't our job. We were doing this as effing around.
Yeah.
So we weren't.
I wouldn't want the headache of his PR people writing me back and then yelling at Billy and saying, why did they call him a pedophile? Like, yeah.
Or why'd they bring up Linda Blair?
Right.
17,
Right.
You know, it's funny.
And they were laughing and they were playing a boner sound effect. You know, like,
but Tuttle got us that interview, and he lied and told them that we were on a satellite radio show.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
So then there's
we
also
did a lot of lying.
There's also the element is that we didn't care about ruining Tuttle's reputation.
That's true. But Billy, we care about Billy.
Yeah.
Not so much Tuttle.
Yeah. But we were
because
just
we
like,
know
he didn't care.
Tuttle will always love us. That's the reason. It's you hurt your family more than you hurt the ones that aren't your family.
And Tuttle wouldn't have cared.
No, he wouldn't. He'd call him back and call him a pedophile. Like he doesn't care. Tuttle's tough as hell.
How did we bring that up to Rick Spring? We need to go back and find that audio.
I have it.
And then find how we brought up, like, hey, you remember when you dated 17-year-old Linda Blair? Like, it wasn't like that. I think, what if
it is? What if we go back and it's like, what? Are you a pedophile?
I think we said, like, hey, we saw an article that
that you dated Linda Blair when she was 12.
I cannot remember.
What's that like?
we did bring it up, and then he started stuttering.
He did. But he gave us, you know what? But he gave us an answer. He got it together. He gathered. He composed himself.
What did he say? He said it was like his parents knew.
I think I can paraphrase. I think he said it's awesome.
No, he said like her parents knew it was a different time.
Yeah, I think he
like
did.
That.
He threw out some quick excuses about how different time.
And it wasn't sexual. He said.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Benny Mardones tried to pull that. The Benny Mardones fan club, when they got mad at us, he wrote a whole song about how she's just 16 years old. Yeah. Leave her alone, they say. Yeah, because she's 16, Benny. And then he said,
yeah, we're like, what?
He said that whole song is about him trying to get her away from an abusive relationship. It's like, no.
Yeah, because we went through the lyrics. We were making fun of the lyrics.
Yeah,
you wrote.
Separated by fools that don't know what love is yet. And I want you to know, if I could fly, I'd pick you up and take you into the night. He's saying he wants to kidnap a 16-year-old girl.
Pedophile dragon.
We're back, baby. We're back, baby.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back on more corporate time.
That's funny. Is that it?
Yep, and then the second part we'll do with Paul tomorrow morning.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for an early Friday Free Show. We are starting a little bit early tomorrow, so if you guys are going to participate in Friday Free Show, we have a little segment with Paul, and then
I think we're just going to go on Twitch at 10:30, do the segment with Paul, and then stay on, and then when Bustecker gets here, we'll start the Friday show.
Easier, yeah.
We're just doing it early because 4th of July is obviously Friday.
So probably starting around 10:30. So spread the